This is Ayana Lahi, and I am so very happy that you are here with all of us today in this week's episode of Be One, Be You. We are diving into the theme, how do you use anger to feel powerful and in control? Wow, what a mouthful there, and what a topic, because we are presently living in a civilization, a global collective world that has a very deep shadow of anger. And anger is the fire element. Anger is misplaced power. Anger is frustration from helplessness. Anger is righteous anger when one identifies with one's beliefs and stands in them and behind them. Anger is blame when we blame someone else for the feelings that we are having rather than taking ability to respond to what we really feel. It takes courage to unravel what we feel and to appropriately share with someone else who might be really pissed off that day, how that affects us, and the truth that we see that we want to share. And how do we know that the truth that we are sharing is real? I think we all have to test our relationship, our interpretation with spirit inside of us. We have to pay attention to cause and effect of what we set into motion and what we believe to be true, and be willing to release what we believe to be true and live in the unknown. Living in the unknown is the quality that helps dispel anger. An angry parent who feels justified in their anger and cannot really take in, listen, receive the truth of their child or teenager or young adult, they are unable to accept in themselves that there is a spiritual meeting point inside that is of the pure emptiness, where the mind can stop its behaviors of needing to know what's going on all the time, it being right, it knowing what's next, etc. For us to develop that place where we just don't know and get okay with it. And then we begin to step through that mystery door into the unknown. And it is through the unknown that the magic of our higher self, that part of ourself that's always connected into the infinite source, can play through us, pour through us, really give its insights and wisdom and creative expression. The nuances of our being can really come forth and come alive. In that unknown place and space within inside of ourselves, we experience letting go. And when anger takes center stage, we can't let go of anything. So when you hold on to what you're angry about and put it out there on someone else in a situation, or even anger at yourself. You are living in the addiction, meaning the pattern, the groove, the imprint of a certain way of being, of avoidance. And anger is passed down from generation to generation. It is something that I have seen time and time again be transferred through the emotional DNA. A lot of times a person will feel anger and not even know if it's their anger or someone else's anger. We can look out into the world and see people who have worked their way into positions of power that come from enormous amounts of unhealed anger. And those people in the collective who haven't begun to deal with their own inner anger are drawn like moths to a flame, because anger is being used to substitute for real power. So we're presently being bombarded in this civilization on planet Earth, and it's been going on for a long time, where anger is used as power, as a justification, that we think we have the right to abuse another. Most of us carry unhealed levels of anger because of many reasons. Some of them could be what you wanted to accomplish but you could not, that you can't quite communicate how you want to. Deep down inside, feeling angry at parents that divorced at some point in your life. Anger about being abused and not ever being able to speak it, share it. Whether it was sexual, psychological, emotional, financial abuse. And most abuse happens because of misplaced anger. And so, in order to move through the misuse of power and the misuse of that power being expressed as anger, we have to forgive ourselves. We have to support others to forgive themselves. We have to open the door to the ache inside of us of what we coulda, shoulda, woulda done or be or said, and to relax into the grace that's always here on a universal source level in you. Because you see, my friend, you are one in source. And that part of ourselves called the thinking mind puts our brain to work. Our brain's already doing everything it needs to keep everything flowing, to keep everything going in her body. So take a moment here and really bring forth a moment in your life for what you feel right now of being angry. It could be that someone you really love, someone you care about, takes out their stuff on you, but they swear they're not. But they're not showing enough for themselves. They're not showing up for themselves. So perhaps you're trying to show up for them and they're just denying your existence, denying the impact that you really are having because they're stuck in what they want to think. They don't want to take you in. And so anger always makes us feel like we have the right or that we are right. So when you bring up that moment of anger, perhaps you let yourself be in a relationship that wasn't full heart. It was more about what your partner could get from you, what they could project on you. Perhaps it's anger that you didn't pursue what you really wanted to do in your life. Perhaps it's the anger at yourself that you never really listened to the wounded kid inside of you who's really sad, and that you had an angry parent who couldn't really love you. And so are you friends with the wounded part of you, or are you the angry parent? Life is about change. Being a human is about change. And we're in a time period right now on planet Earth of enormous change that won't stop. Things are no longer in just a stabilized place. And to really live in a true depth of stability, survival, one has to be connected. You have to be connected into the light that you are, that stays in its own league. The light that you are is a league that uniquely makes you you and gives you the opportunity to be the unique you. Your anger, my anger, all of our anger keeps us from really being the light that we are. There is a time and place for real anger, pure anger, communicated and dealt with. And it's really difficult when another person or a country, a group, won't listen and won't open up. And that when you look into the eyes of a person who wants to or has or is violating human rights, you always see anger. Adolf Hitler was beat by his father. Enormous rage was bestowed upon him. And his way of dealing with it was to identify the darkness as power, the darkness and despair that he felt. He grew as power. And as you recognize the misuse of power around you in our culture, people who act as if they're power and buy their way into power, that's not real power. It's sometimes kind of smart, you could say. How come they can do it and I can't? Well, because you're wired to a different frequency where abuse and using another may not be where you are connected to. And so when you do feel anger, I want to support you and encourage you to be able to pull up the feelings underneath your anger and to be able to speak them without blame, without shaming, and without judging, while you are staying connected to the love within you. And so then your words and your expressions are coming from love. I've been in situations where the other person would say to me that I was the reason for their upset, and they weren't willing in that moment to recognize that they had given their power over in themselves to a negative voice within themselves. And that negative voice would just take them over and absolutely create truly living hell for that person. And that inner despair that this person was feeling and goes into takes the place, and it's used as an emotional excuse for not stepping into the light that they are and really make the difference in this lifetime that they came here to make. Because to win that battle, one has to go through their anger and find that power. Just like in Star Wars, when the Emperor was laughing at Luke, to feel his anger and to build his anger would bring him to the dark side if Luke left his connection to the light force within himself. And that's a lot of what I'm sharing and teaching and guiding about, is living one's life from the connection with the source within inside, and to be true into who you are, to value, even if no one around you is valuing the light that you are. And yes, I've been in that situation. And wow, it really can bring a person, any one of you. It certainly brought me through realizing, like, wow, I've got to let go of that, the last vestige of needing someone else to appreciate or acknowledge where I'm coming from. In this time period, I want to support you to recognize what you've stuffed away in the dark closet inside of you that festers and is angry because it's not being seen, heard, or received. And I want to invite you to send a special signal, a special love message, a special embrace, a beautiful invitation to the you that was stuffed way deep down inside, and look for the light within them and keep that focus into the light within that part of you, and go through what might feel really uncomfortable, and know that it's through the discomfort that you find the release, you find the reconnection into the pure power that you are. And for those of you who don't want to get uncomfortable, I want to say there's very little way that you can really make it through into being one in you, because it gets uncomfortable. And the way that spirit, the flow from the source, moves in us can make us uncomfortable when we're holding on to a trauma, to an addiction, a mindset, a pattern that we make use of to avoid having to be truly who we are. In all of the courses that are video trainings in the Evolutionary Empowerment Global Village membership, I'm sharing with you how to get connected in and stay connected in, so that you can make radical and very significant leaps in yourself in a very short amount of time. That's what I love. The light is efficient. it will take you through the darkest night. And for those of you who feel a calling, I do work one-on-one with people. And I would love to invite you to my website, ayanalehi.com, and check out all the possibilities that are there. I'm wishing you a great week, a most perfect alignment with the source within you, holding you in much love. This is Ayana Lehi.